Howdy doody fellas, it is your host Super Poopy, and today we have something pretty cool but virtual. I wish it was real because holy crap would I love to have a Gordon style carbine or a commando carbine, vintage carbine, but it's mostly known as the Gordon carbine. And if you don't know who Gordon is, go look him up right now, alright, young man? Nah, I'm just kidding. He was actually a special forces guy, alright? He was in the Delta Force, and he carried a rifle very similar to this one that you're looking at. Not exactly the same, but extremely similar, alright? And this dude fought to the death in Somalia trying to save a pilot, alright? This guy earned the Medal of Honor, and now the rifle he carried, or the style of rifle he carried, is now known as the Gordon carbine. Alright, this shit is freaking legendary, and although this is not an on-point replica in a video game again, you know, it's very close, and it's the closest you could get to it. But it's not just the Gordon carbine, but it was a very common build of rifle used by special forces, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna go into detail with that and recommend a lot of great videos, including one by what's called Forgotten Weapons, where he interviews a guy who was in the special forces during the 80s. All right, so he was carrying a rifle just like this one here, all right? And that fool was in Panama. I believe he was in Panama, don't quote me on that, but watch the video, it's freaking awesome. He goes into detail about the rifle and what they did to it, and the crazy modifications these special forces guys would do on their rifles. It's freaking awesome, and I'm gonna scratch the surface on a couple of these. Now, unfortunately, the screen recorder on my PS4 is extremely unreliable, and a lot of the footage glitched out, so unfortunately all I have is a screenshot, but I do have a good amount of gameplay. So it sucks that I can't show you the specific attachments, but at least you could see the visuals of the rifle and what it looks like. So that's going to be awesome, and it's more than enough, although I would much prefer for you guys to see the very specifics. Anyways, let's start from back to bottom. The stock right here in the back, alright, that's like a Car 15 style stock. Now, I'm not sure what type of stocks they would use during the 80s, but I know these type of stocks are still kind of in service. I know the stocks they used for the Car 15 during Vietnam were extremely similar, but there was slight differences, and I believe they were made out of aluminum or some shit. And also, I heard that a lot of them were very susceptible to bending and damage, so that was quite the pickle. But, you know, when are you going to be bashing your stock that hard? But obviously, you need that high quality shit. So this stock is adjustable. All right, I know it's a video game, I'm talking about it like if it's a real gun or some shit, but you know, I've seen them. I fucked around with AR-15s every now and then, and you know, enough to know that this stock is fucking adjustable. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, over here we have the M16A2 lower, alright, you know what I'm saying? And we got the A2 grip in the bottom. And something you will notice about like these commando rifles is that a lot of them would switch their A2 uppers for A1 uppers, because apparently a lot of commandos would not like the complexity of the rear sights of the M16 A2. So that was quite the pickle. A lot of them said it was just too much work and too much shit, you know what I'm saying? It's barely any difference, but you know, to each his own, you know what I'm saying? The little things matter when they stack up to the big thing, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of them would switch out their A2 uppers for A1 uppers. And if you don't know what the A1 upper is, it's basically like the Vietnam style M16, but just like the upper part with the carry handle and all that shit. But obviously, you know, this is a video game and you can't go that much into detail, so that's unfortunate. But you know, I am doing the best I can. But now, in a lot of these carry handles that you'll see in M16 A2s, A1s, and even A3s with the removable carry handles, you'll see that there's a little hole on the carry handle. Now, before there was Picatinny rails, or as I like to call them, slug rails, there was that little hole, and you would attach little scopes to it. And the thing is, the scope would directly attach to the carry handle rather than having a slug rail and just putting whatever the fuck you want on it, you know what I'm saying? So there was specific attachments for specific rifles back in the day, you know what I'm saying? But I believe the Picatinny rail was invented, not really invented, but like made official in the mid-80s. That's why you would start seeing it somewhere like, you know, in the Black Hawk Down era in Somalia, Operation Gothic Serpent and all that shit. And I actually have one of these parts, so freaking awesome. As you can see, it has this little rolling thing, and you would put it on the hole in the top rail, and then you would screw it in the bottom, and there you have a freaking slug rail on your carry handle of your rifle. Now you could attach some crazy sights on it, you know, an ACOG, a dot sight, anything you want, you know what I'm saying? And you'll actually see a few of these in Afghanistan, so you know they had a pretty decent service life, you know what I'm saying? And you know, unfortunately here they do have the vintage style what's it called? I believe these scopes were made by Colt, and they would directly attach to the carry handle. But here, for some reason, they're you know, they attach to the slug rail, which is whatever. I'm sure they made those too, but I haven't really seen them. But typically, these scopes are directly attached to the carry handle. But here, you know, for some reason, they're attachable to the slug rail, like I said. And I believe Brownells, which is a gun manufacturer, makes replicas of these old style scopes just like they would back then. So it's freaking awesome. You'll see these, I believe, in Vietnam all the way up to freaking I don't think you'll see them in Afghanistan, but they had a pretty decent long service life, and you'll see them a lot in old pictures of old battlefields and stuff. And you know, you'll see these scopes here and there, so it's pretty cool. And they're not dot-sighted or anything, so they're pretty old, but they're still freaking awesome, cool, and reliable. Well, at least according to a lot of people I watch on YouTube. I think Iraq Veteran 8888 did a review on these. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, for the frontal part, we just have a standard grip M4, nothing too fancy, no Picatinny or anything crazy like that. I don't know if you could attach some crazy stuff on these old style M4s if you have like these type of front grips, you know what I'm saying, for your left hand, or if you're a righty or whatnot, or lefty. So I don't know what's the deal with that. You could put attachments on it in the game, but I don't know what they're attached to. Again, I don't have enough experience with AR-15s. You know, I know how Picatinny rails work and how the attachments work and all that shit, but you know, not enough to the point where I could say I could do this or that. You'll see a lot of commandos, dude, like straight up tape shit on it, and you know what I'm saying. And something that was also very common, if you look at the barrel, you'll see flashlight attachments that actually attach to the bayonet lug, like if it was a bayonet, but you got a flashlight there, you know what I'm saying. And you know, bayonets, they're a bit irrelevant now, you know. It's no longer World War I. Bayonet warfare is not really seen. You'll still see Marines carrying bayonets and all that shit, which is pretty freaking metal as hell, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, a lot of people actually get rid of their bayonet lug. I'm not sure about, like, in the military if they get rid of their bayonet lug, if special forces guys do that, but you know what, you may never know, so you know, might as well keep it there. And there's a lot of attachments for both, like lasers, flashlights, that actually attach to the bayonet lug, so it clicks on there like if it were a freaking bayonet. So that's freaking cool. And there's also barrel clamps that I've seen for like Gordon carbine style rifles, or those old commando style rifles, and those are pretty interesting. There's also these things that attach to the front sights. You see how it's like a triangle, you know, the stereotypical M16 front sight. It's very iconic, very well known. But yeah, there's some stuff that attaches to that, and your options are unlimited when it comes to building an AR or an M4, you know what I'm saying. That's why it's so awesome to build an M4. I just picked the worst time to build an M4. However, I'm not too worried about it, since I'm gonna be going into the military, so you know, I'll be able to purchase law enforcement rifles, so that's gonna be freaking awesome. However, again, I'm just not too sure about, you know, Biden and the presidency, but you know, it's 4 years. How bad could it get? You know what I'm saying? But guys, stay vigilant. Anyways, back to this shit. But anyways, the muzzle tip's a bit unrealistic. I've never seen an M4 with such muzzle tip like that. I have seen I think you could put the Car 15 style muzzle, the muzzle flash, or what do they call it, the tip, whatever, whatnot. The ATF considers it a suppressor, which is kind of fucking ridiculous, but it's meant to like mimic an AK-47 sound. So fun fact, you know, for the commandos, they would, you know, their M4s would sound like AK-47s, and they wouldn't suspect the enemy coming behind them. So it wasn't a suppressor, but it did help a lot, you know. It's pretty cool. So that muzzle tip, I don't know what's the deal with it. I just attached it because it upgraded the rifle in the game. And obviously, the thing about Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, Jesus Christ, what a long name, is that when you upgrade your rifle, it's actually noticeable. In a lot of games, you could have put attachments, but the rifle's still shit. You know, if the gun's shit, it's shit. And in this game, if you get a shitty gun and you upgrade it, it becomes a pretty good gun. You know what I'm saying? Good example is the MP5. The MP5 sucks when it's raw, but you could upgrade it pretty good. But yeah, that's the muzzle tip. I much rather I forgot which other options they had. And the thing is, when you put a suppressor, it would start from that tip, so it would extend the rifle way out there. And I've seen how some M4s, the suppressor would literally go, like the barrel would go inside the suppressor and then they would screw it in, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, you don't gain that much length. Like, you know, you're trying to, it's a carbine, you know what I'm saying? It's a carbine. It's supposed to be short and ideal. It's a little nifty thing that you could just wave around and run around with it. It's supposed to be lightweight and small. You know what I'm saying? Ideal for like buildings and shit. And you can't do that with a big ass musket sized rifle. You know how long those guns are. But anyways, I think that's about it. Eventually, I am gonna build an AR just like Gordon's AR, or M4 in this case, or like the old style commando rifle. There's not much difference, but I do want to do the whole thing of like getting the A2 lower and somehow getting an upper, an A1 upper with a brass deflector. I believe the brass deflector would be attached to the upper, so I don't know how the fuck they did that. It's so complicated. Again, have patience with me. I know very little about modern rifles, but you know, the whole pickle with guns running out and ammo running out, it's got me panicking and shit. The good thing is, if you're in the military, go get your law enforcement rifle. It's gonna be awesome. You're gonna enjoy it. I've shot an AR-15 for the first time like 4 months ago, and I loved it. It's a great rifle. It kicked harder than I thought, honestly. Like, you'd expect it to kick less hard than something that shoots 7.62 by 39. Or I don't know if my brain is broken or if you guys notice it, but you know, but whatever, you know, it's known as one of the most reliable rifles out there, and I'm gonna build it. And also, you know, partially I'm a fucking hipster, so I'm gonna build my AR like an old style carbine, Gordon carbine, you know what I'm saying? You know, like a little useful, nifty thing. However, I do plan on getting a dot sight because, you know, what if this is the only thing I could reach during a home invasion situation? And, well, iron sights are not good for the dark, and if you're going to be shooting inside the house because there's a criminal inside your house, you want to make the cleanest shots, alright? Because, keep in mind, this is 5.56, and it'll go through a lot of people, a lot of bodies, and you don't want to kill whatever's behind, sorry, you know, the murderer or the guy who broke in. You know, what if you kill the person in the next room? What if that was your brother, your dad, your mother? So you got to be very careful with these things. I would much prefer home defense with a pistol with hollow points, not a shotgun, because shotguns kick like a motherfucker. All right, that thing will destroy your shoulder. I recently again shot a shotgun for the first time, and it was great, but I'm not sure if I would call it ideal for home defense. You just use whatever's comfortable for you, and what's comfortable for me is like probably my Beretta, you know. However, I would prefer like an SBR and 45 ACP, something that could still fire hollow points. So if there was like a, I would get the macaroni or whatever they call it. It's like this attachment you put for the Glock, and get a Glock 21 and 45 ACP, and I think that's pretty solid, you know what I'm saying, because you got that stopping power of the 45, and also you're able to shoot those fat hollow points that'll just explode your target's insides but not go through, you know what I'm saying? It's a good weapon. It looks like a good weapon. I've never tried it, but you know, I have shot a Glock 21, and it's a good gun. It's a good gun. I love it. It's very easy to use. It's great. But anyways, let's not go too off topic. Again, once I'm able to get once I build a able to afford an AR-15 without a problem. I will keep you guys updated on it. I will make a video about this because I love vintage weapons, and lately I've been getting into the new stuff, and we want to keep it real. We're sick of airsoft guns. So we want to start doing the real shit. But anyways, guys, sorry for dragging this out too much. Like and subscribe, much love, take care, and let me know if you want to see more guns of Call of Duty and other video game shit. And also, I got a video about 8mm Mauser coming up next. I don't want to give out too much, so, you know, stay tuned for that. Anyways, like and subscribe. Much love. Take care.